All right, Forks Up. Been hearing from a lot of Sun Devil fans recently, and they are fired up to see what Herm Edwards and company have in store this season. And yeah, the schedule may be shortened, but the anticipation is growing by the day. And right out of the gate, ASU kicking things off at USC November 7th, the first Pac-12 game of the 2020 season, a 9 a.m. kickoff Pacific time. It's the big noon kickoff on the East Coast on Fox. A ton of eyeballs will be watching that game. Both programs agreeing to start the season in that early time slot. So Herm Edwards, I know, first of all, thanks for doing this. We appreciate your time. And it's always great to see you. I know though that you always can sense an opportunity when you see one and you're never afraid of the spotlight. So tell me a little bit about how this came together and why'd you agree to a 9 a.m. kickoff game one at USC?
Well, I think obviously it promotes our conference nationally. And we're always looking for that to get more eyeballs on our conference and the way we play. It's a unique conference in the fact that it's very, very competitive on both sides, whether you're in the North or the South. And so a 9 a.m. kickoff, obviously people on the East Coast, I have a lot of people that watch us, by the way, on the East Coast, but they always tell me, man, by 12 o'clock, coach, I go to sleep and I have to, like Tony Dunn is a good friend of mine. He says, man, I watch you guys in the first half and in the second half, I got to go to bed and I wake up Sunday before I do my show. He says, I look and he says, oh, you guys won. He says, I'm good, right? But now they can actually wake up in the morning and watch Pac-12 football, which is good.
What did the players react to, or how did they react when you told them they were playing at 9?
Well, I think our guys were excited about the opportunity to be on the big stage with USC, and the fact that USC is a national brand. There's no doubt about that. It's always been that way. I played in this conference. I went to Cal right out of high school, and even back when I played, USC is a national brand, and you know it. They're a very, very talented football team. They're always going to be in the conversation about winning the South Conference. We get it. We understand it. A lot of our players come from out of the same area that SC recruits players in Los Angeles. So this is kind of one of those deals when you look at the game. There's a lot of players that are here at Arizona State that actually live in Los Angeles. And so it's kind of one of those deals. It's one of those games. We played them twice. We were fortunate enough to win one of them. They won the other one. Been 8 points, basically, in the two games. We beat them down in LA in the Coliseum. It was by 3. They came here and beat us by 5. So it's been 8 points that really kind of tell the story of both games.
There's so many juicy storylines, Herm, in that matchup that we'll certainly be getting into in the next month or so. But one of those storylines is obviously the two great quarterbacks that we'll see. Jaden Daniels, I want to ask you about him. He's one of the biggest names in the league. Saw he was named a team captain on Tuesday. Not surprised at that. We are going to be talking a lot about his football acumen over the next couple of years. But can you tell me a story or maybe something fans don't know about your sophomore quarterback?
Well, I think the story that's unique about Jaden, his ability to stay calm and really in big moments. And that sometimes is not seen a whole lot. I talk to Jaden all the time on the sideline between series and when he's going on the field. A couple things are interesting. Last year when we played Michigan State on the road, I can remember it was going to be our last possession. And so I kind of walk over and I grab him. I said, 5, come here. And he's looking at me, in the stadium. I mean, there are not many Arizona State fans there, but they were vocal, the ones that were there, right? And I'm looking at this place. I said, look at this place, and he says, yeah, coach. And I said, well, I said, this is going to be our last possession. Kind of important. We scored a touchdown. You think you can help me out here? And he looks at me like we're in practice. He goes, coach, I got this. I said, really? He says, oh yeah, I got this. I said, well, go do it. And so he goes out, he takes us down, he makes a big run, and then next thing you know, we're leading the game. So that's kind of his personality. Same thing, I think, when we played Oregon here at home. We have another possession toward the end of the game. I look at him and he says, I know what you're going to tell me. I said, yeah, you need to score a touchdown on this drive. He goes, I got you, coach. And so I'm going to ask him that every time now. I'm going to tell him every time I ask you, you better score. And so far, he has not let me down.
We love that. So what is it like talking to him now off the field? Expectations, people know who he is around the country now. He's a Heisman candidate. Does it change? And do you try to see it from his lens a little bit too of how he is dealing with those types of pressures?
I do, because this is for all guys, no matter what level you're playing, even professional football. You know, once you have your first season, it's that second season, the expectations that others may put on you. And I just told him this. I said, I tell him this all the time. I want you to enjoy being a college athlete. Let's don't get caught up in all this other stuff. And he doesn't. He's in there every day. He walks in my office every day, and he sits down and we just talk. And we never talk about football. We talk about the team. We talk about things that I want him to do in practice, you know, get a hold of a couple players or whatever. But we just talk. And I keep telling him, enjoy playing college football. Enjoy the experience of being a college student, man. Enjoy this. I say, because it goes by fast, right? And he gets that part, but he's very aware of the noise outside the building, but it doesn't affect who he is at all.
And coach, to that point, you know, you've always encouraged your guys to be themselves as long as they were taking care of business. You know, yeah, let's see the personality that you have. You want them to be able to feel comfortable and be themselves. As you enter year 3, this is your locker room. Take us inside the culture, the feel, the vibe of this particular group of guys. What's it like?
A very competitive group. And that's when you walk in the door. We've always said this, when you walk in the door, this is a building of knowledge. That's all coaches can give you is knowledge. No coach in the history of coaching in any sport has given a player talent. God gives them your talent. What we provide you is knowledge. How you accept the knowledge, how you take it and transfer it from in the classroom on the grass, we have to help you with that. That is what we do as coaches. We invest our knowledge and we give it back to you. How you process it and how you use it, that's very important. If you want to be the best version of who you are, not only as a football player, but as a student athlete. That's what we tell players when they come here. I love your personality, but no personality is bigger than the room. Their head coach has a little bit of a personality, right? But it's never bigger than the team. And I think the players understand the culture. We have a lot of fun here. I've always tell them this. I want a team that's relaxed, but alert. That's just kind of my deal. We can relax. We can have a good, we have a good time. But then all of a sudden, you always have to be alert. And I want them to play that way. I just want them to play that. Enjoy the game. Have fun. Don't go over the edge. Don't disrespect the game of football. Don't disrespect our opponents. Just play. And this is what we say every time we walk through the tunnel, whether it's at home or on the road. Whatever you do, I just ask you to do one thing. Leave it all on the grass. Just leave it out there. And we'll live with the consequences. As long as you do that, we can walk back in here, no matter what happens, and we can say, okay, this is what we did. This is what we did good. This is what we got to improve on. And if we do that, we can live with ourselves.
Man, when I hear you talk about knowledge, I also think about experience, and I immediately go to your defense, right? Your front, I think, is better than people think. Merlin Robertson, Darian Butler, they played a ton of football. Ashari Croswell, you might have the best duo at corner on the West Coast. What do you think about that group? Because to me, they're Pac-12 championship caliber regarding their defense.
Well, a lot of experience. And when you think about playing all those young players early, it's kind of paying off for us now. I mean, that's kind of where we're at on defense. It's kind of interesting because when we first arrived here, we had a veteran-laden offense for the most part, right? A lot of veteran guys. We sprinkled in some freshmen, but it was veteran guys. And on the defensive side of it, we played all the young guys. Now it's flipped. We got more young guys at the skill positions than anywhere on our football team, right? At receiver, tight end. We got 3 freshman running backs. All those guys are freshmen. So, okay, we're going to play, right? We're going to play these guys. And so with that being said, when you look at our defense, they've played together now for a good 2 seasons. Some of them were freshmen. When they played, a lot of them were freshmen. And so it's going to be interesting now with Marvin and AP kind of taking over the defense, and we've kind of changed it a little bit. What that looks like, it's going to be fun to watch. I know that.
Coach, I don't want to put Yogi on blast, although I do enjoy putting Yogi on blast. So he has said to me that Jermaine Lole, your defensive tackle, might be the most underrated player, not just in the Pac-12, but in the country. You agree with that?
I do. He had 6 sacks last year, I think. And I don't go by sacks. I just go by the way the guy plays. He has great instincts and intangibles that you can't teach as far as an interior lineman, defensive tackle. He can come on the edge some. He's a better pass rusher than people anticipate. But he's very aware of blocking assignments from the offense. He is really a player that he's kind of sneaky. He's one of those sneaky guys. He's like, what? It made another play, right? He kind of makes plays, and it's been fun to watch him as a freshman come in here. And now all of a sudden he's played 2 years, and you can kind of see he's matured now. You can see the maturity of guys. That's what's kind of interesting about our football team. A lot of these guys were freshmen, and you watch them now. We played 32 freshmen last year, right? Whether they were redshirt freshmen or true freshmen, and you kind of watch them grow as young men. And it's kind of fun how their personalities change. They become leaders. The growth of a young man is exciting to me because I just watch them when they're young. They walk in here, they don't know where they're going. And then before you know it, they're kind of leading other young guys. And I said, that's a good thing. See, I said, do you remember you were that guy like 2 years ago? They said, yeah, coach. I said, well, help him out. You were the same guy, right? And he said, yeah, you're right, coach. So it's been fun to watch that.
Wow, I have so many questions for you. So we're going to definitely bring you back on, but I have to ask about the receiver position.
Mm-hmm.
Right, a couple of years ago, Frank Darby was walking around following N'Keal Harry, following Brandon Ayuk. Is he the guy now as you have an influx of first and second year players at that position?
Yeah, he's the senior. He's the one with a lot of experience. And I don't want him to feel the pressure of feeling that, lo and behold, the last 2 years, we've had 2 number 1 picks at wide receiver. That's kind of interesting, right? And I don't want him to feel that. And I talked to him about that. I said, look, all that stuff don't matter. You just have to play. Just enjoy. Frank is a very passionate player, as you guys know. If you've been around him, he is kind of the energy button, and I tell him, I said, you got to calm down now. You got to calm. I still want your passion, but you got to calm. I don't want you to waste all your energy, right? Because you got to play down after down now, and all of a sudden you're going to get a lot of attention. And I said, you got to understand that, like Brandon got that attention. All of a sudden, N'Keal got that kind of attention too on the field. They might double you some now, right? Because you're going to be the guy they're going to try to take away. I said, we got to live with all that. It's not about the numbers. I always tell them about this with our receivers. It's not about the numbers. You don't have to catch 100 balls. You just got to be a good player. And if you do that, it'll all take care of itself.
Herm, you talk about energy, and when I think of you, every time we talk, like I am infused with energy. You always come up with different ways to get people's juices flowing. How did you keep your players competitive when everyone was in quarantine and everyone was trying to learn via Zoom? Like, what did you do to try and keep them engaged?
Well, we did some things as far as competition, in the weight room or when we were doing drills. But then I came up with this crazy idea. We had a Madden tournament. Can you imagine? We had a Madden draft, right? I got 110 guys. The draft went from, I think it was 20 rounds or something like that. And then we structured this tournament like the NCAA tournament in brackets, right? And we had an introduction, and we had the quarterbacks were the captains. We had the 5 quarterbacks. We had 5 teams. We had all this. It was when I first thought about it, I said, yeah, we're going to do this. Then I thought about, how do we do this? This is a lot, right? So it was funny to me because when we had the draft, we brought the 5 quarterbacks in the big meeting rooms. There's only 5 quarterbacks. We had this big board of all our players. And so we flipped the coin who was going to draft first, right? It was just like the regular draft. After the first round went by, the first 5 picks, it was amazing how many players were texting the quarterbacks on the phone when it was in the 2nd and 3rd round and saying, I haven't been drafted yet. And I said, obviously, he's not a good Madden player, right? It was unbelievable. I laughed more that day. Players are calling these guys saying, Coach, he wants to draft. I said, why don't you draft? They go, Coach, he can't play Madden. I don't want the guy on my team. That was a hoot now.
So who won? What was the outcome?
Here's the crazy part. So we got it down to the final 16 because it was brackets. And guess what happened? Lo and behold, they said, Pac-12, you get to play tackle football. So now we got it down to 16. We got to do the rest of it when the spring starts. So we never got to the end of it.
Fair enough. That's good. That's like the little dangling carrot.
There you go. We'll finish it in the spring.
Refocus now.
We'll finish it in the spring.
Herm, well, Yogi said it. We've got like 30,000 more questions that we could kick back and forth with you all day, but we will be respectful of your time. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us, and we look forward to seeing you November 7th at the LA Coliseum. It's going to be a good one, Coach. Best of luck with camp.
Thank you. Good visiting with you guys. God bless you.